and 113 piloting that champion to not quite perfection, but pretty damn good. I wonder if Carmine Corp are going to invest one of their red side bans to take it off the board.
I would not be surprised. For a little bit of context as well, the loser picks side selection. So Game Ward have opted into blue side off the back of losing that last game. It means that they are prioritizing that B1 pick. That's the reason you take blue side for some part of it. You want to take that champion, and it looks like it's been the Wukong. It was Wukong in game 1 and game 2, and I would not be surprised to see Carmine Corp default again to a different ban. They've kept the Kalista, they've kept the Yuumi, but this third ban has always been a flex, something that they can try and take off the board. I would not be surprised to see it be the Wukong, or for them to have a potentially different answer in the jungle.
Yeah, and I like that you have touched on answers because Carmine Shop did show a fair bit of sort of like that experience that they have in these best of scenarios, that flexibility, changing up their draft from game 1 and winning in a pretty dominant fashion in that second game. That timer is ticking down slowly above your hair, Rudu. Do we see the Monkey King taken off the board?
We will have to find out. I want to touch on Game Ward's ban as well. Once we have confirmation on Carmine Corp, they take away the Wukong. There's that adaptation by Carmine that we have seen. Now, with Ari taken away, the Azir priority, I believe, for Game Ward should just be through the roof. It was their answer in game number 1. But instead, it's that takeaway, the ban that Game Ward didn't opt into. They remove the Sivir from their bans, and they take it B1. Carmine Corp now, what do they answer with? Do they have a potential Draven locked in? Because that has been the answer to Sivir that we've seen through LEC, through the North American space as well. This is a pick that, you know, has been an answer to the Sivir, and if we get one of those, we can talk on that in the meantime. Nara and GP still open and available. Instead, it's the Misfortune. So, like I said at the top of the show, Middlecott, do we just see Carmine Corp default back to putting Reckless on a Misfortune? Something that can weak side very well because it wins every lane.
Yeah, and there are niche interactions, obviously, with the double up, being able to be spell shielded, but fundamentally, Misfortune just does more damage than Sivir in the early stages, so that should hopefully secure Reckless another one of these matchups that can actually exert pressure, like he did with the Twitch into Zeri in the previous game. On 113, picking up the Xin Zhao, another jungler in a similar vein to the Wukong that can find and engage, but also has a little bit of safety.
Diego likely going to be, yeah, here we go, likely going to be the answer for Game Ward, like you say, right? They said at the top that it's their most played for both of these junglers. Would not be a surprise to see it picked up, and it is just that. Now, what Game Ward can choose is either a support pairing with the Sivir, or if they want to take any priority off of solo lanes, then that's where their options can very easily go to. I want to look at potential Misfortune bot lane pairings as well. The Gnar taken on 3 makes a lot of sense. GP open for Cabo if he wants it. The Jace also there still if they want to take that in before it would get banned away in this second phase. And I think that something that may not be striking a lot of people, but that could be an option here, is an Ashe. Misfortune Ashe is simply a win bot lane duo that has really shot to priority. I'm not quite sure of its European relevance, but in North America, boy oh boy does that bot lane go hard.
Yeah, it goes hard. It just wins things. I've not heard Misfortune Ashe since Rox Tigers days. What an excellent team that was. It is going to be the Jace once again for Cabashard. Really looked good on this pick in the previous game. Into the Gnar as well, so I'm not surprised that the top lane matchup is sort of being run back by Carmine.
No, and it does make sense. They have to take it here, otherwise they fear it gets banned away on 3, and now Game Ward have their choice of bot laners to try and ban away. They could very easily go for some mid lane bans as well if they want to secure themselves a safe blind, expecting Carmine Corp opt into their support on 4, but now there is this real game of chicken, and these sets of bans may well just lead us down the route of, okay, Carmine Corp are banning away supports, that means that they're likely going to be taking a mid laner here or taking a support here so they can ban away some of the pool and take the one thing that's strong that's left open. We'll kind of have to wait and see because both of the teams are just bearing down in that bot lane.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see stuff like the Nautilus taken off the board as well. Just try and remove as many sort of engaged supports. I think the Braum is an excellent answer as well. The Rakan. There's so many champions in the bot lane that pair up so nicely with the stuff like the Sivir and the Misfortune as well, finding those engages at the level 6 mark. But Carmine Corp changing it up a little bit, taking away the Akali.
I just want to see Rakan banned here. Please just take away the Rakan from Hantera, because that is, again, one of his most played picks for this season, if not the most. Something that they would so frequently default back to in the regular season. and does exactly what the Leona does, if not better. You get such good engagements with it. Your laning phase a little bit weaker, but you already have the Misfortune to offset any laning difficulties that you're going to have. So they opt into the Alistair a little bit further down in the champion pool for me than I would have anticipated hitting the ban table. But now Carmine Corp, I feel like, can just opt into this Rakan and potentially have a Rakan Nautilus matchup that they're going to be quite happy with through the late game.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me either, as it is the champion being held here. So nice! Nice, Rudu.
I picked the right side!
Wow!
Okay!
Well done. Well done,
I guess
mate.
they clearly just want more aggression out of the bot lane to pair with this Misfortune. To each their own. They already win that bot lane. I don't know what support matchup would have made this bot lane winning for Game Mode, but we'll have to wait and see if they have a different choice on their minds. Silas taken for Checo is something that we've seen banned away previously and also picked up by Carmine Corp to try and answer the priority that Checolad goes for. I'm pausing.
I know you're pausing. You're going to have to pause for 10 seconds, Rudu. And I think we should just do it. Nice.
Hey! Well,
the rule is never talk about hovers. That is the golden rule of casting a champion select. So yeah, letting that one lie for a little bit, but it does give Game Wars composition a hell of a lot of flexibility. Actually, the stuff like the Silas and the Gnar and the Rakan, these are champions that can really dive all over the place.
Yeah, and we're pausing for the memes. The Nautilus Rakan bot lane is not in the orientation I was expecting it to be. That's my issue. But nevertheless, we do see it come through. The Azir again, R5ing for Azir. I don't mind it. I think that albeit a fairly expected pick, it's still just so darn strong. There's no reason not to take it if you're Carmine Corp. We saw Checo Lad bully in the other side of the matchup in game number 1. We have to see if he can play the other side of the matchup quite so successfully. We've already seen Seiken. We've seen this mid lane go both ways, honestly. The Ahri was a big win for Seiken. The Azir was a big win for Checo. Now we get to see the flip side of that matchup, the side where Checo really got to manhandle Seiken. So we get to kind of see both sides of that coin really unfurl.
Yeah, and I think the key thing for me is that the Azir gives you, for Carmine Corp, a little bit more of a late game insurance policy, because the Jace and the Misfortune are absolutely going to be relevant if this game goes to 40 minutes. But that Azir is hyper relevant 40 minutes into a game. The damage that the soldiers can do is absolutely ridiculous. And we're going to have to see if Seiken is able to get to that point in the Azir, as we are going to be jumping onto game 3 in just a moment. Let's go, everybody, as we are on to Summoner's Rift. We're getting a little bit of a nature tour here. Hello, Ducky. How are you doing? Oh.
Today we observe the lesser spotted duck of Summoner's Rift and frog of every Summoner's Rift. This is Baby Grump, more so known for his lack of attentiveness through the early game. As it's Reckless going to be a wild adventurer who does indeed disturb the two animals.
Well, keep going, man. You're doing the whole game.
I think I nailed that. No, I think I nailed that.
That was really good. Like,
I scarily Attenborough.
That was Attenborough. Oh, I thought it was. Don't worry, Rudy.
Steve Backshaw, is that who you thought it was?
Oh, Steve Backshaw. Holy moly.
Okay, you guys aren't going to be aware this is very niche.
We keep doing this, Rudy. We keep bringing up British references on an international broadcast.
Child's British references. If you guys want the definition of Giga Chad, look up Steve Backshaw.
Oh, yeah.
Whew!
That guy has a chin chiseled by the gods. And a pretty damn good bod as well.
Or if you're struggling to spell Backshaw because it's a bit weird, Deadly 60. That'll do it.
What a show.
Absolute
what a show.
throwback.
As it might be getting pretty deadly in the bot lane here for Camilius. rooted up by Hantera, but with that Aftershock falling away, they're going to opt back in for the trade, but it's going to be forced to flash back. The early game power of the Misfortune coming fully to bear as Reckless claims first blood.
I'm so confused by Game Ward. Why are they taking this fight? This is not a skirmish you win. Middlecock, you said it in the early game. Misfortune does more damage than a Sivir. Blanket statement, that is true. Nautilus, also a better early game just southpaw than the Rakan. Especially when they get all of this early damage down as well. I like that Game Ward wait. They're waiting for the Aftershock to pop off of Hantera, but he uses Flash to get out to safety, and Reckless just says, well, I can quite easily follow. Goes in, double up plus auto attack. He's not needed for that auto, but more than capable of putting down the damage. And now having this early advantage, the wave as well looks good for Carmine Corp. If they can force this to go into their turret, this bot lane could be over.
And the thing is as well, in that level 1 engage, Camilius didn't burn the Ignite, and Inax is running the Ghost, so doesn't have a summoner spell that can actually help out the Rakan in those fights. And it's honestly pretty perplexing coming out from Inax and Camilius, who have been relatively consistent throughout the split for Aimwell, but really falling down in the early stages. And it's onto a Misfortune who's going to be able to leverage this lead so much.
Yeah, this is a lane. Misfortune is a champion that bullies you to every extent in the laning phase, and giving her an extra 350 gold, 400 in fact for first blood, is simply not the way to go about a laning phase. They get to crash the third wave, they get a full cheater recall, they're going to miss very little in terms of experience and gold for this reset, and it gives Reckless an extra tier on his base. Able to find another longsword so that his combat stats are still easily matching, if not exceeding, Inax's capabilities through the early game. And he's going to be so easily coaxed through this early game and into a mid-game, late-game point where this Misfortune just bullet times and rinses your entire team.
Oh yeah, I mean, those ultimates can be absolutely disgusting when you've got high AD values and you're plucking stuff like the Mirror Mana as well. Really can be disgusting, as Akabane has caught out Cabochard on the top half of the map, who's able to bonk away the Viego, but Melonic jumps on his head and gets the chase down. Hyperprox to the bonus move, the flash with the Spectral Maw. And Melonic claims the kill in top lane.
Okay, great gank and great timing as well. This is one that Cabochard, again, honestly, should just have seen coming. We look at the clock. Okay, 3 minutes 20, top lane about to get ganked. Unfortunately, that ward not down in time. And it is Akabane making his presence felt once more. Melonic able to secure the first kill for himself there, and that is going to help him out vastly in this top lane, in a complete contrast of what we've seen from games previous.
Ooh, Camilius diving back onto Hantera. He's done that once before and it didn't really end up well for him, but this is sort of what you were talking about, Rude Dude. This wave is not going in the direction that Game Ward was like, as Inax dodging away. Doesn't even get the heal from the spell shield.
A little bit unfortunate, but that just does mean that Reckless is free now to make it rain at will. Good from Akabane here. They kind of need their jungler to force his wave under the turret. Yes, Sivir has really good wave clear and really good push, but the fact that there's a Viego here just means that they can do that safely. Would not have expected Carmine Corp to let that happen, and now there's a Xin Zhao to try and respond.
And no mana for Hantera though, but Camilius is going to find the engage for himself. Carmine Corp jungler forced to flash away as 113 is looking for the play onto Camilius and finds him. The knock-up onto Akabane as well. Another kill for Reckless, and the early game is going all Carmine Corp once more.
113 may have had a questionable first couple of games, but that was absolutely gorgeous on the bot side. Tossing and turning between all three targets, trying to pick up as much as possible. And he gets two where some junglers may not have gotten one. Inax sneaking around here a little bit to try and stop these recalls, but a very good counter gank down on that bot side by 113, recognized red and responded to by the KC jungler.
And look how disgustingly far ahead Reckless is now. Stat on a serrated dirt, 2 longswords and a tear, and Inax hasn't been able to get back to base yet to pick up his own itemizations, but it's not gonna pale in comparison to what Reckless can do. And this was such a great ward from Pantera to spot out where Akabane is. 113 roaming over as well, and Carmine Corp just recognized they win this play.
Yeah, and they go for this engagement here. The true damage from Ignite, you think may be able to just about do enough. And look at 113 here. Starts his Q on one target, manages to take down Camilius with the Wind Becomes Lightning, and then uses the third part of his Q to knock up Akabane. Aftershock saves Hantera here as well. At least stops him from being on blinking low HP. Just really well played by the Carmine Corp trio there down on that bot side, outplaying in the bot lane. Yeah.
And I love that Akabane was sort of hitting onto Hantera at the end of that play, thinking, maybe I'll get a kill, but then Aftershock and the shield comes through, and you're like, no. But this is a bit of a switch-up of priority from Carmine Corp. We've characterized this team as a team that plays so heavily towards the top side of the map, but they've got a bot lane here that Reckless can really turn the screws on if he gets an advantage, and they're going for it, whilst Kamashard still doing fine in the top lane.
Yeah, we can draw parallels between these two side lanes for Carmine Corp, right? Our point about Misfortune was, okay, you secure a good matchup, you can leave it on its own, and it can survive, quite easily. Well, we could plug that statement into this top lane matchup as well for Cabo Shard, and that's exactly what Carmine Corp have done for themselves. The Jace, a very comfortable matchup in the top lane versus that Gnar. Even with that first kill going the way of Melonic, has still been able to push in the mid, push in that top lane, secure a CS advantage, and find good reset timers. Carmine Corp are just playing toward their bot side now, instead utilizing the very strong early game of a Misfortune to try and leverage an early game lead, and thus far they have done that beautifully. 1700 gold in their favor, wave state permanently in a good spot. They've always been able to force bounces back so that the wave is in a good spot. And this isn't just costing the bot lane of Game Ward either. This is costing Akabane too, because he has to spend so much time trying to bail out his bot lane and force in these crashes where he would love to be farming. And you can see what the discrepancies of this are going to be now. 113 up in farm, now going to try and steal away this blue buff. With complete control in the top lane, this should be easy. And this is all off the back of that bot lane control that they've amounted early on.
Ooh, Checker Lad, I thought may have walked into Carmine Corp's jungler, but doesn't want to make the play happen. And yeah, credit to 113. He's been consistently inconsistent, but has had an excellent early game so far. And 8 minutes on the mark. Hantera roaming up. Seiken here as well. Akabane not quite able to secure a stun onto the Carmine Corp mid laner as the rest of Game Ward are chasing forward for this. The flashing gaze coming through from Camilius, and the Crescent card popped up by 113 is not enough to prevent them from going down. A double kill onto the Viego, onto Akabane, and the Rift Herald is going to be claimed as well.
Really good timing on that top lane fight for Game Ward. Melonic was just dinging into Mega Gnar, and that is the difference maker for Game Ward. Seiken and Cabo don't want to dive into a Gnar who's Mega, quite rightly too. But they find the pick onto Hantera, who takes the wrong pathing through the river, gets caught out, and 113 tries to bail out his support using that Crescent Guard, not able to make the difference. You can see 113 is able to get out quickly, but Melonic is here to respond onto Hantera. Double wallop, double Gnar, double kill for Game Ward.
Just that easy. When you stack the CC, the kills come falling down. Great of ultimates from AD carries whilst we're in that replay. As Inax, honestly, at this point, you're just fine. Sat under this tower, farming up. You're never going to be able to contest Reckless in terms of 1v1, but as long as you can keep that structure standing, as long as you can force this Misfortune to stay in the bot lane and not bleed too much, that means that the big lead that Carmine Corp have got on this AD carry isn't going to translate into anything else on the map.
Remember, another crucial point about that top lane fight was all of the gold was on Reckless. All of that lead that Carmine Corp had was exclusively in their bot laner. If bot laner doesn't show up to the fight, it exemplifies your point perfectly, Middlecott, that it is on even playing fields, and it comes down to those timings of Mega Gnar, of who's going to be in the right position at the right time. Game Ward, they are making the most of it. You may think that keeping a Sivir in the lane is, sometimes a bit better because she can't group up with the team and use that on the hunt. Well, guess what? If the Sivir is using herself as just an ult bot, not necessarily the worst case when you're leaving a 1500 gold disparity down in that bot lane.
As we see Carmine Corp potentially setting up for a dive here. Game Ward know that this is going on, and Camilius only now digging over to level 5 isn't going to have access to the quickness for a very, very long time, but 113 doesn't want to go for the play just yet, and with that Wind Become Lightning being spotted out, we'll just back away.
No vision on Akabane for 113, and I think that that's really the tempering factor that stops them from opting in to this dive, is that they can't just so easily walk their way into the bot lane and try and take the 2 versus 1. But Reckless has importantly hit the first mythic item of the game 10 minutes in, had that Eclipse ready to go. Beauty, of course, of Misfortune as well is that when you take these resets, you tend to never really miss out on any experience because of your W strut passive, giving you just extra 60 movement speed to get back to the laning phase, which is actually kind of insane. Is that you can very easily get away with some fairly dodgy resets, or if you get the perfect reset, it tends to actually be the perfect reset.
There's Melonic here getting jumped onto by 113. Trade of flashes on the top side of the rift. And I like that point about the Misfortune, because Also, because of your build, mostly being longswords, even if you are forced back at a relatively dodgy time, you just stack up as many longswords as you like and you should be chilling.
The classic assassin build, right?
Yes.
Whenever you're going for lethality, it's just... I don't know quite which mythic I want. I don't know quite in what order I want my lethality items. I'll just buy a load of longswords. I don't care where these turn into.
The General Grievous build.
Yeah, I will buy 4 swords and I will beat you with them. And that has been a very real possibility and a very real outcome thus far for Carmine Corp. They both start the same, and it's caught me out too many times. I'm annoying myself with their monikers.
Very, very similar stuff, Rude Doers. Those mythic items being completed pretty much across the board here for Carmine Corp. So if Game will want to contest around this Drake, then they would definitely be at an item disadvantage. They still want to go for it, though, as Checolad stealing away the Emperor's Divide. Just
Something
a little bit too far away as Carmine Corp pressuring in the lane, just fishing for something.
Look at the difference in items, though. This is not a fight that Game Ward want to take. Every single mythic of relevance completed for Carmine Corp. Game Ward still missing their mid lane, still missing AD carry, still missing their top lane too. Seiken easily able...
Oh, no, he missed! Oh, he doesn't shuffle away! And that means that he can get shoved under his own tower and taken low. The Ignite, the Heartbreaker! As Akabane is going to steal away the corpse of the Bird Emperor and dies under the tower. 1-for-1 in the mid lane.
Rare misstep from Seiken, but it does get traded back. Carmine Corp able to find a 1-for-1 underneath their mid-tier 1 turret, which will leverage them into the Drake also. Akabane being the 1-to-4 means there's no smite to contest this and means that Carmine Corp will get this for free. Second Drake of the game going to go their way. 33% chance that they roll a Cloud Soul here. Middlecop, they will be hoping that it is the other alternative, that they simply don't get that. Ocean and Infernal, 2 very highly priced souls also open for the taking.
Come on. Roll the dice. Oh, god damn it.
Oh, dear. We're going to Elder Soul!
Let's go! All the way to Elder Soul. And I mean, honestly, for Game Ward, I think that's a realistic prospect because as disastrously as that bot lane has gone, it feels like they've kind of stabilized across the map and they've even been able to make a couple of plays of their own.
They have. Now, my concern is that the later this game goes, the more and more you're going to be relying on the...
Might be relying on Melonic to not die to Cabashard in the 1v1.
Okay. The more this game goes, is the longer that you'll be relying on the 600 CS Sivir win condition. Which, you know, popularized by Teddy over in the LCK. That Jin Air Green Wings game will live in my life for forever. 80-minute slogfest, in case you're not familiar.
It's still happening. It's still going on right now.
Some say Teddy actually never left and is still playing that game.
Well, it's just there sat in Lowell Park going, I would rather not be here right now.
They're playing the Infinite Farming Simulator. How many stacks can I get on Veigar versus how much CS can I get on Sivir? That type of game that they're playing.
Holy moly, this game has turned into a Vanderbilt video.
True. Interesting your choice of content creator, actually. I was gonna go Bunny Fufu. Bunny Fufu was the OG clickbait dude.
Man. Oh, it's Bunny Fufu. I don't want to
each their own.
I don't want to dog the guy too much, but it's
he's a TFT player now. We can dog him all we like.
Oh, has he played it? You know what? I respect TFT players.
Oh,
you know
okay.
what? If I'm tired after a long day doing very, very little in my dad's basement, then I'll check on a couple games of TFT and I can just sort of vibe, you know?
That's fair enough. I have lost respect for you now, though, and I feel like I should be upfront with you when I say that.
Thank you very much.
That's okay. Anytime, my good sir. 1-1-3, and the rest of Carmine Corp still out in control in this game, though. As much as we highlight that Game Ward have made their plays to slightly get themselves back into the game, they are still in front. And something that we didn't get too much time to touch on is how this mid lane matchup had gone, because that was a talking point for us coming in, that Checo and Seiken had gone back and forth, really. And I think that this game, it's been largely similar, largely even. The important item breakpoints have gone in Seiken's way when we touched on that dragon. Checo. Okay. We're using ultis, that's fine. We're stealing them and using them. Perfect synergy.
That's how Silas Ultimate works, rude dude.
Thank you for the update.
Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. We've still got a few minutes before any sort of big objectives are available on the map. But this bot lane tower, definitely something that Reckless is going to be looking to pick up, and Inax doesn't really have the support to defend this.
And this is a way that Carmine Corp have been able to take leads, not just in this series, but in the regular season as well. Their map movements, regardless of win or loss, draft be darned, are always very good. And slowly but surely, they seem to just take turrets and amount leads that way.
I have never seen 3 charges onto a mid lane tower from 2 Rift Heralds. That's a new one.
Jesus. Well, unlucky. I guess it stops the second charge on a tier 2 turret.
Yeah,
but
I suppose maybe that's worth. But you would much rather have your mid lane Sundis still standing, applying a little bit more pressure.
Maybe. So what we've seen from Carmine Corp this game, obviously the map moves to generate leads. They overload the bot lane a little bit right there to have a numbers advantage and take the turret. They did the same thing in the top lane a little while ago. Cabo Shard quite happy with the bounty on his head.
Oh, Checo Lad has been caught out here, but does have the support for Camilius and a TP coming through. The Silas is actually buying a lot of time, but gets shredded by the Misfortune ult. Melonic is able to dive on top of Reckless and interrupt that ability, but Carmine Corp are already taking over this fight. 3 kills in their favor as the Gnar falls down, and 1-1-3 going to be the only sacrifice.
Yeah, he loses that fight up on the top side to Inax, but the rest of Game Ward fall like flies. Good job by Melonic to try and stop Reckless from dishing out damage. Unfortunately, he got there a little too late to the party, and Reckless had already used that bullet time, and once that cooldown is out, Misfortune, a lot less of a champion, but still more than capable of healing with a Gnar. This is a really good re-engage, a really good deterrence from Camilius. You can see, 2-item Misfortune, scary beast. Melonic does a very good job at holding onto his cooldowns. I gotta credit him for this, but it really does not matter because the other side of the fight has just gone so well for Carmine Corp. Inax not getting here until way too late. Is this Sivir, even though she's really not too far ahead in this game, really can't have any impact either. Finds just one isolated kill to get, and Carmine Corp, we said that they were ahead. Now they get to find a fight, and they start to really show us how far.
Oh, they might get another one in a moment as Game Ward have returned to the scene of the crime, return to this river, but they are a little bit too late to contest this Drake. Sole point for Carmine Corp, 19 minutes into this game. They are feeling very happy about how this series is panning out.
I want to just to remind everybody, predicted a 3-1 for Carmine Corp. Just gonna leave that in the air. Let it sit.
So did I.
Let it sit for a little bit. I have the DMs, Middlecott. You can't gaslight me. And the good thing is, you sent it me as a JPEG. You can't edit those, baby.
Oh no.
No Discord edits.
Oh dear. Oh, I'm screwed.
You are, and I'll publicly humiliate you if you try and say otherwise. Only with the predictions, by the way.
Okay, it's just like...
I'm not gonna pull your pants down, you know?
Please don't do that.
Your big first LAN cast?
Yeah, I'll pull you... Oh, Lord.
What if we did the Deficio quick shot strategy of just... Never mind. Never mind. Are you familiar with the incident?
Well, I think there were several incidents in that.
Well, true. You just have to say the duo and then you know.
You've got a girlfriend, haven't you?
Not important. Not relevant.
Right, now I've got something to hold over you.
If you can hold my girlfriend, that's pretty impressive.
I have been going to the gym recently. Not working out at all, but it's just they do really nice coffee in the cafe there.
Oh, that's true. They do have pretty good swimming pools as well, typically.
Yeah. Again, don't use those either.
Oh.
Do you actually know the word for swimming pool in French? As he's seen as Melonic may be pissing himself here as he might end up in a 1v3. The flash ultimate from Hantera really want to take out the Gnar, and he claims it himself.
Classic outplay there by Nautilus. We press flash, we press R, and our targets cannot get away. And quite simply put, it's a swift kill for Carmine Corp. Now, they overloaded into that bot lane. They expended a lot of resources to get that kill. Game Ward were not happy about it, and they did try take turrets on the flip side of the map. Checo Lad not going to be able to take this turret in its entirety. Good thing that Camilius is here to try and deter any engagement by Carmine Corp. But it was a lot of pushing, and Carmine Corp get one of those. They get the one push down into the bot lane. They did take that tier 2 turret. But if that happens again, the turrets on the top side are going to go down.
Oh, on the hunt, Reckless, caught up, charmed, knocked into the air, shut down. Third to kill the game for Inax on the Sivir.
Really nice plays, and this is what you can get away with as the Sivir. When you spot somebody who's just a little overextended, you see that one ward put down by Camilius, catches them a freebie. Rekkles may think that he's strong enough to step up in the 1 versus 1, but if there are 2 extra members there, Game Ward are more than happy to try and find that engage, more than happy to leverage this Sivir ulti into a quick kill. And that's a shutdown as well that goes the way of Game Ward. 4-0-2 no more. As Rekkles still working on that Mirror Mana completion, still working on what I imagine may well be a Cyrilda's Grudge as his third item of choice. And slowly but surely, this Sivir is getting up to that scary point. Not quite the Infinity Edge completed, but the better components of the way there.
Yeah, around about 1,000 gold until Inax is going to be hitting like an absolute truck. And if they're able to find some safety in these fights, maybe with the Ghost, maybe that extra movement speed is enough to prevent the Carmine Corp dive on top of this AD carry, then she can be incredibly relevant. And to give Game Ward credit, they've stood up against Carmine Corp, they've traded with them, and this gold lead hasn't grown at all since about 5 minutes.
It's shrunk, if anything. After the Drake fight a little bit earlier, Carmine Corp had a 4k gold lead that has, like you say, since withered away. Just the 2k lead for them right now. It doesn't mean that they start losing team fights by any means. They are still a very potent force to try and duel up against. We do take our little regularly scheduled check-in with a frog getting stood on by a massive Nautilus.
Hand terror, man. Care for nature, broski. Ecology is important. Oh my god! Oh, it's bullet time in the mid lane, and Inex really didn't enjoy that.
I wonder what Rekkles' cooldown is on that bullet time, because it's the last window where he can put poke down before the Drake spawns. It's going to be, I think, about up in time for that Cloud Soul to go their way. But that little bit of poke probably just decides who gets all of the setup around this objective. Forcing Inax back to base, a Cabane lower on HP, means that Carmine Corp have wrested control of the mid lane, control of this river, and it's going to make it so difficult for Game Ward to try and find any angle into the river if they can get any at all.
It's some of that clean macro play that we have praised Carmine for, or maybe as individuals they can go a little bit too far forward sometimes, but the game plan, at least, is always solid from them. 8 seconds until Soul is on the board. Game Ward finding a way into the bottom half of this Drake pit is actually
behind.
Deep TP coming through from Checolad. What ultimate does he have available? It is that Stolen Death Charge. This has an absolutely disgusting AP ratio, so if he can find an engage onto multiple targets, it's big. As there they go, Camilius popping the ultimate, popping the quickness, but can't find the damage onto the carries. Burst kill the fight already for Game Ward, as Rekkles knocked into the air, knocked into the sky, taken low, but not quite taken out. A triple kill for Inax, make that a quadra kill, as Kamashard chased down, pentakill!
Game Ward against all the odds in the team fight that they had no right. Come out with a penta. Inax on this Sivir. Bit the bullet in the early game. Was in no way to fight for the first 10 minutes. We see 24 minutes come online and Inax is ready to party. 8-0 on the Sivir. Cloud Soul, be damned. Carmine Corp are not getting that one. And Game Ward are going to get the Baron, get the Dragon, and get the penta on top.
And for all the aggression, for all the competence, for all the plays that Carmine Corp made in the early stages, it may mean nothing now as Game Ward found the miracle fight and keep their hopes of winning this game 3 alive.
Checo just zoning so well on this top side. Was always a pressure point. Melonic coming from one side. It was just a perfect pincer maneuver. Camilius bites the brunt of the engage, but that is exactly what Game Ward want. You're going to double knock up onto the front line, and then Melonic spots the angle, slams 2 into the wall. Seiken not able to do anything throughout the entirety of this team fight. And Checolad in the backline makes Rekkles' life a misery. And then as soon as Carmine Corp try and turn onto him, instant stasis, and Inax is there to party. Takes down every single member of Carmine Corp. Cabo, the last one to take down. Pentakill for your Sivir. May not be 600 CS, but boy, is this person a win condition.
Oh my word. Incredible stuff coming out from Game Ward as they wrest control of the gold lead. And with this Baron buff for another 2 minutes, towers are going to be falling on the red side of the rift. What can the blue wall, what can Carmine Corp do to stand up against this onslaught and prevent them from falling down to match point in this do or die series?
Going to be a difficult question for them to answer. Sivir so good at pushing, so good at clearing waves. Oh my word.
Flashing away from the engagers. Maybe a little bit of an overextend, but here comes Checkerlad to make it work. A defensive TP from Kamishad. 113 not able to find an engage with the flash. Blinking health bars on a couple members of Game War, but crucially, Carmine Corp not taking anyone out.
Their base stands strong as well. The Baron going to be used for purely economy. A lot of gold injected into Game Ward's team, but nothing to break open the base. Reckless forced to use his flash in that exchange, though. That's a big cooldown for her, Miss Fortune. Her one safety net no longer available to her. When we've got Miss Fortune without ulti, certainly much less of a beast, much less of a champion to try and deal with. Game Ward, though, they do just enough in that fight to not get taken down. The TPs from Cabo, the flank from Seiken were not rewarded. We're starting to see a little bit of a different build path I want to mention from Checkerlad. The Thimble Winter taken so that he can be an even bigger staying force in that front line. Give even more time for Inax to be the DPS threat in the backline. And we're now at the point where Ghost is far superior to heal. Regardless of your predispositions to the early game for Inax, Ghost does more.
On the hunt used in the mid lane, they are hunting for Reckless, and they will find him. Charmed, taken low, but he's able to fire out with the ultimate. The bullet time doing a load of damage to the members of Game Ward, as it is already 2 kills picked up for Carmine Corp. The team on the blue side may have overextended. They may have played their hand a little bit too far, as Carmine Corp find 3 kills. No objectives on the map, but how much more can they take? Teleports into the bot lane from Seiken.
They could well try and break open the base. That inhibitor is going to be forfeit at the very minimum. And in game number 3, the blue wall stands strong.
It's not got a wave.
His wave's far away, and now there's a collapse. It's only 2 members. Melonic trying to take down the mid laner. Seiken, 1v2.
A lot of damage on the Azir at this point in the game, but not enough to fight against the members of Game Ward. Melonic with the kill. 50 seconds until your Azir is alive. What the bloody hell is this series, Rude Dude?
It's too much. It's too much. It's entertaining. It is banger action. It is LFL. Both of these teams battling to get their spot at EU Masters playing stage at a minimum. Neither one of them wanting to give it up just yet. An overextension by Game Ward, followed by an overextension by Seiken, and Carmine Corp may well have to sort of deal with that one on their own terms. Cabo dodges out on the wallop. Melonic
still gets knocked into the wall, though, and the damage from the mini-nar is significant. Teleport going to get pulled by Game Ward, but Kamishad able to disengage the play. That's big. These TPs being burned at the late stages of this game can be so crucial.
There should be no route into this jungle for Game Ward. That dragon should be forfeit. I expect Game Ward to be able to take this one quite handily. They've got 1 ward in that blue buff rush, and it does give Carmine Corp a little bit of a way in. But the scary thing for them right now is that they have fought up against the Sivir, who didn't have an Infinity Edge when she got that pentakill. Now we're at the point where Inax has completed that Infinity Edge. He's got a stopwatch to boot, has that extra element of safety with the Vampiric Scepter also. And trying to take a 5v5 versus Game Ward right now seems like such a daunting prospect. If they can get that first kill, it gives the Sivir reset, it gives the Viego reset. It means that your chase down potential is so huge. And for all of you unfamiliar as well, Ghost also is a reset summoner spell. If you pop Ghost and get kills, it extends the duration of it by another 7 seconds. It is possible for Inax to be ghosting around for a very long amount of time. The ease to get resets as well. Just ult your team and then you reset that Ghost cooldown if they get a takedown. Very scary to take team fights in the late game, and Cabo Shard, Carmine Corp, every single person on this team is respecting it.
And now, have to start looking towards Seiken in the mid lane. On this is here, 3 items completed. Has got the Void Staff in pocket. He can deal a hell of a lot of damage, but the question is he actually going to have the opportunity? Is he actually going to be able to get in range of Inax, who's got himself the Bloodthirst, that additional survivability on the Sivir? Carmine Corp, after leading for so long in this game, lose 1 fight and find themselves on the back foot, find themselves on the verge of going down match point in this series, and 113 not quite gonna be caught out just yet.
Melonic on that top side, he's got that Mega Gnar bar stacked into a very nice spot, ready to go. He's looking for a TP angle. There are many wards behind them in the mid lane. If Game Ward want to go, they can go whenever they like. They're just waiting for Carmine Corp to step a little too close to the sun. Baron up and ready. They're looking for anyone they can find.
Oh, the ult was cancelled!
Wow.
Checolad lost vision of 113, so the stolen depth charge didn't complete onto the Gingel. That could have been the pick that Game Ward needed to take another fight, to blow open this game, to take the Baron and end this game 3. But Carmine Corp stand strong for now. Melonic nearly at that Mega Gnar form, waiting in the wings, waiting for Carmine Corp to walk themselves into a disadvantageous position. They may find it now. 113 going to be chased down, going to be taken low as Camilius buys the initial engage coming through onto Saken, who goes golden. Massive Gnar on the backline as the Azir is dealing the damage. Inax taken
Saken's
low.
got him.
Inax taken out. And Carmine Corp may just take this fight. Checolad causing an absolute ruckus on the back half of Zakabane. Full HP. Reckless trying to cut out as much as he can, but you can't strut away from this one. Game Ward take the fight, and they're going to take this game.
Again, another team fight that we don't know who's going to win until the very end. Akabane stepped up huge when needed, and Game Ward take game number 3. This series is going to go the distance, middle court. Carmine Corp now down 2-1, but it's Game Ward that set themselves up nicely. A great team fight in the end game to win this one.
The 3-time EU Masters champions on the verge of not even qualifying, and it's Game Ward who send themselves to match point.
Every single game has felt so close. It's come down to one team fight, to a small skirmish, just the littlest things that can